I'm here, Andrew, if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
I've been reliably informed that it is 1 o'clock, so we will kick off with March 2024's Finance and Corporate Committee meeting. Dale Marie, could I thank you?
Tēnā tātou. Tēnei te mauri ka piki ake ki te rangi e tūnei. He rangi a tāhua, he rangi tipua, he rangi tawhito. Kia whita, kia whiti. Ko te mātauranga, kia tau, ko te māramatanga. Whaia kia tata, puritia kia mau, haumie, huie, dai kia. Appropriate for finance hui. Kia ora.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to apologies, and I believe we're all here. I see Mike's just disappeared, but he can't be. There he is, look at that. And Roger, I believe you're online, you can hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, that's fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Excellent. Thanks. All
And
good.
I can assure you I still look the same as I did a week ago. So
Excellent. Should I take this away from them? Anyway, moving on, disclosure of members' interests. There being none, I'll go to late items, and we have none of those either. Okay, confirmation of the order of the meeting. And could I have someone move? No change?
Yeah, no reason for change.
Thanks, Mike, and a seconder. Thanks, Bruce. All in favour? Contrary, no. That's carried. Confirmation of minutes from 20 February. Claire, we're happy to move. Thank you. And a seconder, please. Thanks, Dale Marie. All in favour?
aye.
Contrary, no. Carried. So we're there, tab 6 already. Hamilton and Waikato Tourism 6-month report. Welcome, Sally, and welcome, Nicola.
Kia ora tātou. Nicola requires no level of introduction whatsoever, so I'll hand straight over to her and she will take you through her report as well as a presentation this time. So over to you.
Thank you. Tēnā koutou katoa. It's lovely to see you all again. Saw some of you on the bus at the airport recently, so nice to see you there in a slightly more casual role or time frame, really. This is our report for the 6 months that was July through to December 2023. Just saying to Sally, we're already quarter of the way through this year, so I'll give an update of that as well as we get to the end. I think it's from page 17 in your agenda pack, I swear I saw it, so there you go, just to land you in the right place. Get the buttons around the right way. Just some high-level results for the region here on the screen at the moment. Really proud to see that we've rounded it, of course, to $1.9 billion is the visitor spend into the region across the whole of the Māori Waikato. To the year ending October, unfortunately, that data set is on hold from Stats NZ. So that's why I'm talking October figures with visitor spend. So that 1.9 billion, that equates to $5 million spent in our region per day. So it's quite a significant figure and we're really proud to have achieved that. That's 15% more than last year and 10% up on 2019, which seems to be where people want to benchmark prior to that COVID pandemic landing on our shores. Domestic visitors still remain our main source of visitor spend. It's still sitting at 80% in the domestic realm from New Zealanders visiting New Zealanders. The purple box there is from the phone data. You remember me talking about that. 1.6 million visitors. That's for November alone. If we look at 12 months up to November, again, another data source on hold, it's 13 million visitors to our region for the year to November. So on average, it's around about 56,000 visitors a day. So let's think about Nelson or Invercargill landing in our region each day. So it is quite a size of people coming to visit us. I heard a it makes it more relative, doesn't it, thinking about a town. The blue box there is business events. So we can see that that is up to date. That data is continuing, thank goodness. Q4 up to December. So 94,000 people attending 720 events. So we maintain our 10% market share there. The yellow box is commercial guest nights, $1.3 million, 1.3 million people or guest nights hosted in our region in commercial accommodation. Now that is hotels, motels, backpackers and camping grounds. That's not peer-to-peer Airbnb type of accommodation, unfortunately. So we maintain that 55% occupancy rate, which is in line with the New Zealand national average at the moment. The black box on the right is our international visitors. So we can see 2.9 million people, nearly back to, well, about 1 million short of pre-COVID levels, but returning really strongly. And that data there is to, what's that? That's to December. So we're seeing even more numbers in the January, February timeframe coming through, that we are rebounding. Every month really seems to be stronger and stronger. Key markets continue to be Australia, US and UK. What I haven't put up there, and I should have, and I'm now adding it to my verbal because I hadn't put it when we submitted the presentation, is that through our activities that is in your report, through all of the things that we do, our visitor guides, our adverts, our media, our sales pitches, we know that we've reached just over 13 million people have seen or viewed or engaged with our activity. So it's quite significant pieces of work that we've been doing in the last 12 months. 6 months of the report, sorry. This graph is Waipa itself. So this is your visitor spend with 2023 being the right-hand side of the bars. Yeah, it's still you, right? So $216 million spent into your district. 172 of that is New Zealanders and 44 million is international. As you can see, we're well surpassed the 2019 levels by 23% if you need that percentage mark. The graph on the right shows where your visitors are coming from, where your spenders are coming from. So we can see Auckland, Waikato and Bay of Plenty up there as your number ones, domestic of course, and then US has really come through very strong for Waipa. And I think that is probably, look, it's, prediction or reflection, probably some of the impact of the FIFA event. And there were an awful lot of US people here during that time frame. And the US flight connectivity into Auckland has been outstanding over the summer period. So I think that we've really benefited from that. Commercial accommodation, I think it's all says really well up there. 12 months, 213 bed nights, guest nights in your district. And the occupancy rate there is sitting at 52%. So not quite at that 55 national average, but really close to it. You can see on the bar graph there that January through to March is typically your busier period. And that will be your events related activity, I would imagine, out at the lake. This is a new data screen that you've not seen before. I think we've included a snippet of it in your report. It's a tool that we've had developed and piggybacked off some of our fellow RTO colleagues up and down the country and used their research to overlay our information. So what we're seeing with this is that there's just over 12,000 people directly employed in tourism across the region. So that's, unfortunately, it's not broken down by district, it is by region. It's about 12,000 people employed directly in tourism. That's not counting the mechanics that might service the buses or where the milk comes from for the cafes, all of those types of things. So that's 7% more than the same time last year. And if we break that down, that $1.9 billion of visitor spend in our region, that equates to around, for every 151,000 that visitors spend, that's a job. So we're really pleased that every time we increase our visitor spend, there's potential for that to be another job in our community. Now, I purposely just put a picture here rather than some graphs and words, because I didn't know what, the time that we'd be here and what would have happened between the report written and now. So we are 3 days away from the end of another quarter. So we're getting closer and closer, aren't we? So the last little bit of activity that an update is from the domestics. Our summer campaign has been active and is still active through to Easter and the school holidays. That's around making sure that we can have people stay longer and of course come and visit our region. In our drive markets, our 2-hour drive radius, so into Auckland, Taupo, Rotorua, those sorts of places, Tauranga, and down to Taranaki, and our fly markets, so Wellington, Christchurch, and the broader Canterbury area. Our business events team have attended an event called AIM in Melbourne. So that's for incentive groups and encouraging incentive organisers to visit our region with those. Meetings is coming up in June in Rotorua, so that's the big trade show for the professional conference organisers. So we'll be representing the region there. In the trade and international space, the team have been, we're always busy. Joined Tourism New Zealand and Australia that was in February, to train travel agents. So think about when you go to a travel agent here and pick up a book on wherever you might want to go. In reverse, we're training those travel agents on what we have to offer. So that was a lot of 15-minute speed dating often. The IBO Day inbound tour operators that was held 2 weeks ago, that was 60, bit more than 60 New Zealand inbound operators were trained. The Explore trade shows at the end of April, and Trends, the big one, is in May in Wellington this year, so we'll have a good presence at that. Capability building, our next symposium it's now only next week or the week after, it's just around the corner, and a lot of one-on-one visits with our operators to help them to improve their offering and navigate Qualmark and trade. One just really hot off the press is Minister Ducey. I'm not sure if you saw it. He's our Minister of Tourism, announced a new regional events promotion fund just on Friday. Unfortunately, in some wisdom, it excludes Hamilton, Wellington, Christchurch and Auckland. So it does exclude Hamilton and Waikato. Yeah, so you can imagine my response, Liz. I've been very quick onto the MB team and posing a case that if it's about Hamilton being a large city, we've got 5 other districts that should be included. However, and then in some of the fine print, it talks about being a gateway. We're not a gateway. So we're challenging that with Wellington at the moment. And I've received a thoughtful response that they've asked for more evidence from me. So that, of course, has gone. So I'm hopeful that we may get that overturned, because it is just not on, and we're not going to sit down and take that. So we're definitely, there fighting for our districts, if not the whole region. It may need to exclude Hamilton. But we are there fighting on your behalf to get our events included. There's some, like any funding, there's detail and criteria that need to be met. So we'll work through that. But that's the type of activity that we do often on your behalf, that sometimes it's seen and sometimes it's not. Of course, as you do, we've got quite a large focus at the moment on long-term plans across our 6 councils. And it is shaping up to be a little bit of a grim picture at the moment across all 6 when we add the 6 together as the compounded effect of proposed funding reductions. So you will see us out there having a little bit of a say, and you will see a submission from ourselves and some advocates, because it is not just about us, it's about our industry, and it's about the broader community. Our industry employ just over 12,000 people. So it is about community viability, the work that we do. And I really appreciate that, your agendas are full and it's really limited time that I'm here in front of you. So, if you'd like some discussions one-on-one over a coffee to help understand what tourism does, what we do for the community, more than happy to do that. Thank you for your ongoing support to date. That ends the presentation, Chair.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nicola. And as you have alluded, all councils are facing a really tough environment at the moment. But we will look forward to your submission, and you're not going to be the only organisation submitting. And yeah, I think your report really reflects the value that you do put back into the Waikato territorial authorities, etc. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But thanks very much for your report. Nice and full as always. And I'll ask for any questions. Phil.
Hi, Nicola. Hi. Great to see you. No real questions, but it's just awesome to see the growth that now we've got. Well, no restrictions or very little restrictions out there, that things are really going really well, and how we're performing well against other regions and things too. So well done. So it's really good. Excellent. Thank you.
Bruce.
Nicola, I was interested when in your business events, you said 720 business events, which is 10%. And you also highlighted that meant in the third quarter we were third behind Auckland and Wellington. And earlier on, you said in the executive report about how a high-end accommodation was limiting these things. How can that be fixed, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's an ongoing challenge, and the announcement since those reports have been written, the announcement in Hamilton City of an investor looking and signing up a conditional agreement to build a hotel in the CBD is outstanding, and we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Where that lands in terms of beds, we're not sure yet, or how many rooms. It's sounding quite significant. So it is definitely looking up. We're hoping it won't be the only hotel announcement, and maybe we could do with some more. And look, you're very lucky in your district. You've got some fantastic accommodation operators, particularly in Cambridge, that we work really closely with. So yeah, you have some amazing operators.
Ooh, Liz.
Thanks, Nicola. Thanks for all your ongoing work. I know it's not easy acting in this space, especially since rebuilding since COVID. I mean, got a lot of operators are really only just getting back up on their feet. The incentive market, that was something really, really strong many, many years ago when you and I were much younger. And it feels like it might be making a comeback. Have you got some comments? Because you did sort of briefly mention it in your report, but it just seems to me that that's a real opportunity for us, because we do have that real broad range of accommodation and activities. But yeah, how can we what can we do to kind of get that going a bit more?
We are gaining traction, and I think I'm still young. Thanks, Liz. Look, as I said, one of our team attended the AIM trade show in Melbourne recently, teamed up with Hobbiton Movie Set so that we were together as a product to sell the region and Hobbiton, piggyback there. Great interest. And, back in the early days, we might have been younger. We had to start with those conversations with where's the Waikato, where's Hamilton, where's Waipa. Now, and then we'd get to, so what have you got? Now we're getting to, I know where you are, I know what your heroes are, what's new. And so we're getting some real traction with that. And that's, it's a compound effect over the last 12 years and probably more, that we have got interest. And the interest at that event was phenomenal. There's been a lot of follow-up and a lot of following conversations to attract some of those. I'm not sure if you're all aware, the incentive market is when it might be a large corporate has some incentive for their sales team, achieve X percentage of sales, or you might be a client and you spend so much with us, you get to join us on a trip to the Gold Coast or wherever it might be. So those are the types of trips that we're trying to attract. And often they are, well, it's not it's money needs to buy those experiences. They're not looking at the ticket off your website. They are looking for a little bit deeper and enriched experience. They've got money and they're willing to spend it. So they are looking at the premium market, the helicopter from place to place, the behind the scenes, the really in-depth experience. So we are gaining traction, Liz, yeah.
And for me now, what I guess I'm really excited about is that hotel for Hamilton. And what I'm hearing is it's around 100 beds. So if it's 100 or more, then that's going to be a game changer for attracting more conferences to our region. But the cherry on the pie, or what do you want to call it, the icing on the cake, will be when we can secure another airline coming into the airport. So with a hotel coming on board, that will hopefully provide another opportunity, and hopefully other airlines will take another second look at Hamilton, because that they've been looking for that kind of they need to see there's a number of beds here before they'll start flying in. So if we can achieve those two things in that order within the next few years, I think that will really secure us as a destination.
Of course, a really strong, active RTO as a part of both of those.
Yep.
Discussions.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
The business case doesn't stack up quite so strongly if the RTO is too diluted.
Yeah. No. Good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. Any further questions, comments? Mike?
I did put my hand up, Andrew, but it went down. You don't know why.
What was that? Sorry, Roger?
I did put my hand up, but it went.
Oh, no, I can't. I haven't been able to see your hand come up, but
That's
I'll
all
tell you what, you go now and Mike will follow.
Good. Thank you very much. Good, Nicola. Hi. Sorry, I'm not there to see you in person, and sorry you can't see me at all. Just a big black space. But an interesting move by the government to put GST on Airbnb and other agencies like Booking.com. I can't see any impact on that really. I mean, it's going to be an administrational issue as things. Would you see anything coming from that?
Hi, Roger. I'd love to say it's nice to see you too, but yeah, you are a black square up there. Look, it's hard to really gauge what impact that's going to have. There are some Airbnbs who may be just in that cusp of earning enough to pay GST or not that may relook at their business case. But really that is for individual operators, of course.
Yeah. Interesting move by government, that.
Yeah, it's interesting where that GST might land would be more the interest.
Yep, too right. Good. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
report. Good report. Great to see us getting back up there again.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, Nicola. Workforce, is the workforce largely back up and going and places aren't closed because of workforce shortage?
Of our key operators, they are fully staffed to where they wanted to return to post-COVID, post-pandemic. There are still some gaps, I guess, in retail and food and beverage sectors. So those sectors are finding it more challenging than probably the more operator focus. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a mover for the recommendation on page 16. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Claire. Put the motion. All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary, no. It's carried. Thanks, Nicola. And look, you guys are doing good work. So long may it continue. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Okay, moving on to item 7, 8-month financials till 29 February 2024. Hi, Nada.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I've got the results here for end of 29th of February, looking at the 24 forecast against the 24 annual plan budget. We are sitting with 58% of our operating income at the moment, and our operating expenditure is So our capital forecast is now 97 million, and we're currently at 44% of that. I'll take the rest of the report as being read in a few months with questions. Peter or Amy.
Thanks. Okay, it's pretty full and comprehensive report there. Do questions? Claire.
I've got some questions about the non-financial reporting. So is that now is a good time? Yeah, okay. So if you have a look at page 58 of our agenda, which is page 25 of your report, I think it relates to I think it's the growth in users of our websites. I just really appreciate having a trend shown over time. So not just the last quarter, but, you know, over previous years, just to see what the changes are over a longer stretch of time. And, you know, because we know that one-off events can affect quarterly, reporting. Yeah, quarterly users and things like that. And if it was possible to also connect it with initiatives or promotions that you trying to build people coming to our websites, things like that. So you might be able to see the impact of various initiatives. That would be really helpful. Yeah. Has any thought been given to doing broader reporting over those longer time periods?
We do report internally on metrics like that. It's absolutely possible to include those. So I'll pass that on to the communications team. In terms of how that links into the timing of certain initiatives, that might be harder to pinpoint, but we do have a lot of analytics. Some things like that, so that might help us feed into that.
Yeah. That'd be really great. And yeah, I wasn't sure how much work you're doing in that initiative space, I guess, to try and build more traffic to those pages, I guess, but I presume you might be doing that in the future. But yeah, I think it would make our, I suppose, oversight of the activity much better. Like, I'm always very interested in the Te Arawai journeys usage, and again, it's just a short-term figure that it says it's increasing, but I don't know by how much and things like that. And yeah, so that kind of thing as well. Yeah.
Amy, can you, when you're
Sorry,
talking,
we do measure the use of the Te Arawai Journeys session numbers as well as a performance measure. So those are reported quarterly, but yes, we can absolutely. We report on the various websites that council manages through internal measures. So we can certainly look at including that in the quarterly reports as well.
Susan.
Yeah, thanks for this. Just following on from Claire's observations, I think they're really good points to make, but just quite surprised, I guess, where has it gone? In terms of the pages on our website, obviously the reason why and pages that are viewed within our site are kind of distressing to see that agendas and minutes are only accessed 2.7% of those times, which underscores the importance of the work that the comms team are undertaking now to capture in those reels and other social media avenues what we're doing here, because clearly people don't want to go right to the source. They want like a quick cheat sheet of what's the haps kind of thing. So it really underscores the importance of that work that the comms team are doing right now, I guess, and the data suggests that people won't source it otherwise. So yeah, I just wanted to make that acknowledgement.
Mike.
Thanks, Andrew. Just a couple of, first a general question, then a specific query. The general question is that everything in this 8-month report and reforecast has fed through into our forecast for the end of year financial position that we've been talking about today. That's correct, isn't it? Yep. And nothing's changed since then. It's that the forecast was the forecast that's now being presented. Yep.
Yes, that's correct.
Cool.
In fact, the forecast quite perfectly coincided with us putting the final parts of the annual plan together. So yes, it's all very current information.
Thank you. I thought that was the case. Just wanted to be completely sure. Now, this is a specific query, and it's on page 5 of your report under capital expenditure. Your capital forecast movement little box there, capital work not budgeted for, etc., or work that was higher than anticipated sits there at 34.5 million. If you go forward 3 pages to your little worksheet where you doing the cash position forecast for year end, that seems to have come down to be in the bottom box there. That's come down to 14.5 million, and it just struck me that was quite a big difference. And I just wanted to query it, see if you could simply explain to me how 34 becomes 14.
I'd have to go back and have a look at my figures, but I think what you're referring to is the 34 is over the whole, like from the start. So that includes from back in August to now. And down the bottom where you're referring to the 14, so it's looking at what was set at the annual plan to what was set at the start. But I would have to go back and just confirm that.
Okay, yeah, thanks. If you could, that'd be good. It's a particular point, but it is $20 million difference. And I just sort of was struggling to reconcile that in my head when I read through your detailed forecasting worksheet.
Yeah, sure, I can go
Thank
back
you.
and have a look. Yeah.
So is that the first line of that debt movement?
Bottom box of the debt movement, third line down, the first plus is capital expenditure movement, October and February forecast.
14,616.
Yeah, whereas 3 pages earlier, the capital expenditure forecast move was 34. 20 mil difference. Just wondering if there's an easy explanation for that. It was just a query, right? Just checking on it. And it might be in the bracket, it says excluding external funding. And I was thinking, surely there's not $20 million of external funding in capital. So it's got to be something different. And it's a reasonably big number. It's not insignificant. And I just wanting to just query it.
Yeah, so, well, look, I think NADA will just have to explore those numbers and come back to you. The only thing I can imagine, Councillor, though, is that it's a different classification, because, I mean, those other numbers don't, are different coming through as well, aren't they? So
they're broadly the same, like the carry forwards in, the carry forwards out, and then the others are just rats and mice. But
okay.
Yeah, there'll be a reason. I just would kind of like to know it.
Yeah, through the chair, we'll need to have a look and come back.
All good.
Thanks for that. And look, just pretty focused on debt ceilings, obviously. So keeping a close eye on movements in capital expenditure and therefore debt.
Yeah. No, thanks for that, Monty. Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, if there's nothing more, I'd just like to say that your explanations are really clear. So I'm very happy with that. And splitting them out to the first 4 months forecast and then the next one, great, love it. It keeps it really, easy for us to see what's happening and when. So well done. Now, we have a recommendation on page 31. Do I have a mover, please? Bruce, thanks, and seconder, thanks, Monty, all in favour? Contrary, no. It's carried. Thanks, ladies. Awesome. Okay. Item 8, health and safety report for November to February.
Ooh. So let's just check that Clark should be presenting it. He may be outside.
Might be a bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, just give us a moment. I hear that. Hear that now.
Perfect. Yeah, isn't it? Welcome, Bev and Clark. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, tēnā koutou, katoa, ko Clark Collins Aho, Manager HR Operations. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my second health and safety report. And this report is for the period from November 2023 to February 2024 inclusive. And firstly, an apology, I did put the incorrect date on the top of the report. It was meant to say March 2024, but it does say March 2023. We picked it up, but too late to obviously be able to correct it in time for this meeting. So I'm taking the report as read. Of course, Bev and I are happy to take any questions that you do have.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, it's a great report. I'm really happy with it. The question I have is on page 8 of your report or page 103 of our agenda. It's about health and wellbeing and the employee assistance program. Because I picked up, as you did as well, that only women this time around have been using the service. So, and yeah, have you gone into that a bit further actually? Because yeah, it raised some questions for me actually. Yeah, and I do wonder whether or not there's some underlying contributing factor to that.
Through the chair, yes, we identified the same thing and we've started to have conversations around what is actually driving that. But we're very much at the early stage of that, because as you would have noted, it's dropped down considerably compared to what it was over the last period.
Dale Murray.
Just a quick one, just following up. How are we doing with our cultural safety policy?
Through the chair, hopefully I'm saying that right. Sounds good. So I understand working with Stephanie Shores that there has been some conversations with some key stakeholders around that. So I think we are still very much in the early stages, but it is progressing.
Just getting back to my point, could we please have a follow up on it, if that's all right? You know, like in your next report, that if you're able to get into more of the drivers of it or something. Yeah, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Monty.
Thanks, Andrew. Appendix 2 that you've added in, so this is the health and safety performance snapshot, actions and or initiatives coming out of the executive team and the health and safety committee meetings. And then I go to Appendix 2, it looks a little underwhelming. Is that a harsh criticism? It just, yeah. If it's sort of thinking about active health and safety monitoring, if that's the output from the committee and the executive team, seems underwhelming.
Yeah, through the chair. This is around our due diligence plan, which was adopted in November last year. So it does look a little bit lightweight, I suppose, at the moment, but we're still building on that as well from the new due diligence plan that was actually signed off by exec in November. So as each report comes through to you, there should be more information and more data in there to be able to give us better information as well.
Thank you. We'll keep watching it. That's great.
Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Doesn't look like it. It's nice to see this area progressing as I feel it should. Good to get the near miss reporting sitting where it should be. I guess KPMG, is it? Yeah, I mean, they've got all the numbers to tell what should be happening in that area, and it's reassuring to know that we're where we should be. So yeah, that's awesome. I guess I'll move to the recommendation, which is on page 97. Could I have a mover, please? Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Lou. All in favour? Aye. Contrary, no. It's carried. Thanks very much. Keep up the good work. Okay, item 9, Treasury Management Internal Audit.
It's like very heavy rain.
It does,
Yes,
yeah.
and it's been going on.
Yes.
Last time it's. Business is like.
Do you want to get down and check the sump down there? That's Sorry, all joking aside, welcome ladies, Yolanda. Internal Treasury Management, let's go for gold.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, committee members. This report has been submitted to this committee based on a recommendation from the Audit and Risk Committee. The Treasury Management function was part of the internal audit program this year, and they reviewed our current practices against the Treasury Management Policy and issued their report. The reason why this report came to this committee is because the subject is of interest to this committee, and you will be monitoring the implementation of those recommendations. So I'll take the report as read and take comments from the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks. Questions? No, it seems to be, I mean, there was a couple of minor matters that I think have been addressed. So, Bruce, you had a question?
I did on page 118 of the report. I'm not too sure what is yours on the interest rate risk exposure not hedged in line with the policy. Could you explain that?
So just something we prepared earlier because we were prompted to this question thing. So did that look orchestrated? I'm not sure. Yeah. Hey, look. Yeah. So Bruce did ask us question just yesterday, and I just thought it would be helpful to show you the graph because KPMG did not put the graph in their report. So this is it here. This is what they're talking about. And I guess this is all about, even if you take this into your home mortgage context, in terms of whether your home mortgage is on a floating or a fixed rate, etc. The same thing kind of applies to us with our corporate debt. I mean, obviously, we can take some interest rate risk out of the equation if we do fix in an interest rate, either by borrowing at a fixed interest rate or by putting a swap over top of it, which fixes the interest rate. But look, our policy, there's a couple of lines here. So it relies on a banding essentially. So between the top red lines and the bottom red lines is essentially what our policy requires us to have in the way of fixed interest rate cover. And I guess what KPMG is referring to in its report is that we had a very little breach, minimal breach. I'm not sure what term they're using. I'm not looking at it at the moment. But there was this bit of a breach back here where the level of interest rate cover wasn't quite sufficient for a short period of time. Now, actually, we had identified this, and we had talked to Earl about this, and Earl is saying actually the way to fix that and get back within the banding where we needed to be, obviously would have required us to take out some more debt, to move us back into the banding with interest rates at the level they are, basically saying not wise to do that because we could see it was going to correct quite quickly. Actually, I should have said the reason why these sort of cascade down is the interest rate cover needs to be higher at the front end, and can diminish out the further out you go because who knows what's going to happen out in this space. So that's the theory behind it. But look, essentially KPMG's point here is that, you may not have seen this graph before. I'm not sure. So actually some of you longer term counsellors may have seen it in other contexts. But of course, KPMG's point here is that in the Treasury reporting that we put up to this committee on a regular basis, it would be really good to have this and some of the other graphs there, so you can actually see, see what we're monitoring against, rather than us just describing it in words. Really good to see the actual graphs and pictures. So yeah, so look, we're very open to that suggestion, and we will look to adopt our amend our reporting accordingly going forward. Yeah, is that helpful, Bruce, in terms of the question? Yes, yeah, Carl.
Awesome, all good. Okay, well, seeing there's no other questions, we'll go to the recommendation, page 107. Perhaps you'd like to put it, Bruce. Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Yep. Thanks, Phil. All in favour? Contrary, no, that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, item 10, public dump station. You get all the good stuff, Andrew, don't you?
Yes. What a name for a report. Yes.
Welcome, Andrew.
With our train station.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, councillors.
We ready? Are we ready, everybody? I think they're ready, Andrew. Let's go quickly.
Just for the record, my name is Andrew Don and I'm with the council's property team. We have been working with the New Zealand Motor Caravan Association to find a suitable location for a public dump station in Te Amutu. The town does not have a public facility of this type, and this is seen as a detriment to the town by this sector of the tourist market. We have identified a suitable site on Station Road on land owned by KiwiRail, and we are seeking approval to proceed with a licence for this land and for council to contribute to the cost of developing the site. The site has been selected as it has a waste water pipe running through the centre. KiwiRail are prepared to enter into a 9-year licence agreement, which is the longest term they are able to offer. The licence will be able to be renewed as long as KiwiRail do not need the land. The rent will start at $2,180 a year. Just on that, the NZMCA do have a contact at KiwiRail and they are working on getting that down to a more peppercorn rental type basis, but at this stage, that's what we are working on. A water supply to the site will be needed, and this is estimated to cost around 15,000 plus GST. We will need to probably bring the water supply from under Station Road from the other side of the road. NZMCA have asked if council could pay or contribute the 15K to the project, and they will be financing the dump station itself along with other site improvements, including fencing.
Okay, yeah, I know this has been long sought for, and I know they actually want a site to overnight caravans as well. It's not going to be suitable to do that. But yeah, Lou, you have a...
Thank you, Sir Chair. Andrew, I think this is something that's, as Andrew just talked about, been for a long time. We did have a private one operating for a period of time. But yeah, unfortunately, that's no longer available. So I would happily move the motion, if that's correct.
Dale Marie, second. Liz.
I was just going to ask a question about the previous site that we were looking at for the Motorhome Association, because this is a different site, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So I did see an email letter, I think several months ago, saying it was pretty much dead in the water. They couldn't get a resource consent across the line. Is there any hope that we might be able to provide some overnight accommodation, or is this really just the end of it?
Through the chair, that is still a distinct possibility, but in terms of priorities, this is their main concern. And they're really more concerned about getting this done, and we will still work with them through the chair to find a suitable space, but it's not that easy, and we don't have the right land available. But we are working with them on that.
Look, and thanks for that. All I want to say is that Hazel will be so pleased that there is finally a dump station. Hazel Barnes, our previous councillor, so pleased that there will be a dump station in Te Awamutu, because she did talk about this for a very long time.
It's naming right.
You've got to call it the Hazel Barnes.
Dump.
Andrew, you have a comment?
No, actually almost covered by Andrew's very final comment there. We are keeping in regular contact with the MCA. So so we've had several discussions over the last few months, and we'll continue those as potential sites are investigated. So some identified by them, some identified by us. But a continuing conversation.
Okay, so Claire and then Roger.
Yeah, look, very happy with the proposal. Just wanting to follow up on the site here for overnight accommodation. Like, I hadn't heard that original site that they can't get, or it doesn't look like the consent's going to go through. Is that? Oh.
No, through the chair, no, it's not suitable for that use.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's disappointing. Yeah, because I'm really keen to see some solution found so that overnight accommodation would be possible. Thank you.
Yeah, it was an issue with the land, I believe. And look, very happy to have a permanent dump station. The site can be anywhere, but the dump station, preferably not where the site is anyway. So this is a good solution for that. Roger.
Yes, thanks, Chair. Andrew, very much support the establishment of this dump station. One of the things I think in the back of my mind, I seem to remember that having a public dump station was part of the requirement for TA to become a motorhome friendly town. Is my memory correct on that?
Yes, through the chair, that is correct. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so that's a step in the right direction to becoming a motorhome friendly town. That's great. Good, thank you.
Yes, so So I have mover and a seconder for the recommendation that's on pages 132 and 133. That's A, B, C, and D. So I'll put that all in favour. Contrary, no. Is carried.
Thanks very much.
Andrew. Okay, we have now a resolution to exclude the public. Could I have a mover, please? Bruce, thank you. And thanks, Phil. All in favour? Contrary, no.